Today I've come to the folk village in Jeju, which is a very tourist thing to do, but I suppose I am a tourist, so I'll give you a little flavor of what the Jeju traditional living was like, because it's quite different to the mainland because of the climate, because it's very windy, heavy downpours. So this section is a little mountain village. So this has been lived in like an ordinary, people, farmers, fishermen. So what's very unique is that thatch roof that's also gritted with straw rope. So in the wind it wouldn't fly off. And this is stone and mud wall, and that's a very typical Jeju thing. It's called hamok. It's a water bottle in ongi pot that they will wear it on their back with those straps, often collected by women. And this is an interesting structure here. It's called Hang, and it's to collect water, maybe morning dew through the straw into this ongi pot here. And it says on the description that they would drop a frog to test whether the water is clean. So I suppose if the frog dies, it's rotten water. So I'll show you a little bit of the internal. Not sure if you can see. This is a room, very small. Duvet for the floor. It's less, maybe just over a meter long. Maybe people were really tiny. This is a kitchen. The lady's working. So ongis, probably that's called 장독대, to keep the soy sauce, kimchi. I think this might be the loo. Yes, this is the loo. So I guess you go in, and then there's a little hole. I suppose you sit there, and then it goes directly into the ground. I'm not sure whether you can see, but you see these fruits. They are probably a family of clementines called, I think, halabong. So they're actually very big, citrus fruit, which you can see here. They didn't pick, so it's just dropped on the ground. Jeju is quite special to me because my father is from here, so I grew up visiting at least twice a year. It was an exotic thing because you don't really meet people from Jeju so frequently on land, so I think I was the only one actually among my friends to have a parent from Jeju. So all these houses were not, the village is restored, but the houses that you see here are actually all the properties that were lived by people, but not necessarily all on this site. So these are, there's a new small section where they have houses facing each other. This is a little stone milling machine. It's a little bit of a bigger house. This is some millstone where you would grind grains and also make tofu using cooked soya beans. So you would use the handle and turn it and turn it and turn it. something like that. Ah, this is interesting. Here, this is the old style ironing. It's a wooden board, and this cloth they would hit to straighten any crease on the fabric. This house, it says it's woodworkers workshop. What is unique is this 3-hole stone on both sides of the gate, and it's basically the Jeju style gate. They would use 3 different wooden poles to indicate a number of poles, the way they do a horizontal or angle to indicate whether they're home, whether they're gone, how long they're gone for. I've looked up the stone. What the stone is called basalt, wood generated after a volcanic eruption. So this is a lu. That's a little wooden baby. Jeju is very known for their black pigs. These are, I think, maybe brass pigs. So they're often known to eat human food as a part of their daily meal. So this shows that structure. Someone sitting on the loo, and the pig pan is very close. There's the example of a gate. So they have, I think this is a mill actually. So I think, if I remember correctly, the 3 full wooden lines are I am not home, gone for long. And then you can do single bar, double bar, and then they sometimes do a angle bar. So I can't remember all the details now. So this is a household that is a head of the house called Dongatjip in Korean. I don't know how that translates in English. So it's basically the head family of that clan, I suppose. So they even have a front gate to get in. They will often have a separate kitchen, a separate main house, and then a house for the servants, a house for ladies. So this one probably a smaller house. That's like the main house here, this one, and they have a garden section. And they also have it seems like they also have a shrine, because ancestor worship is very popular, and as the head of house, this is one of your main duty to serve. So this is the shrine entrance, which is fancier than the main house entrance. So that's the shrine here. It's not a thatch roof, it's a ceramic roof. So they would often have generations. If it's a household with many ancestors going back, they may have a lot more tables in here in a bigger shrine. So this is a governor's official space working office, basically like a town hall. It's quite fancy. It's got the roof tiles. You go in. You can see torturing tools here. So the governor will often sit at the most in the center. This is like a cross, like a crucifix, but on the ground. So they would have the head at the top, legs tied at the bottom. They would have so it's to be beaten by the back. So this is the beating tool, and this would be a seating torture machine where they would seat you, the legs tied, and those two poles would be splitting the leg between the thighs. So you can imagine if the legs are tied and they split it from your thigh level, it's going to be pretty painful. So there you go. Quite fancy in there. This is yeah, government official, and the aristocrats' living quarter would look very similar. There you go, the governor in fancy clothing, and that's probably his PA, probably doing all the recordings for him. Yeah.